Start with a look at the headlines.
Plantation workers' land issue in Parliament. Opposition MPs protest in the House. Payment to beneficiaries in crisis over failure to appoint a chairman to the Welfare Benefits Board. 9 other inmates infected with the unidentified disease found at Gaol Prison. 5,000 hectares destroyed due to forest fires. Plans to deploy army and intelligence agencies to arrest those responsible. Former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra returned to Thailand on Tuesday after 15 years in exile.
Starting off with some news from Parliament, views were expressed in Parliament over the proposal moved by the government with regard to domestic debt reworking that was later approved by the House.
This House on an earlier occasion passed the proposal with regards to domestic debt restructuring. It passed law. It was passed by a majority vote. That is not a law. Only a bill becomes law when it is passed. However, when a legal matter is moved by the people with regard to the EPF, and when a minister raised it with you in the House, you said that a matter passed in Parliament cannot be challenged in the court. If it was a bill or a constitutional matter, then what you say is correct. However, a proposal does not become a law when it is approved by the House. Why do you say that a proposal moved by the government and was passed in the House cannot be challenged in the Supreme Court? Why can't legal matters be moved to the Supreme Court with regard to the damages that can be caused to the EPF?
EPF අරමුදලට සිද්ධ වෙන අගතිය හෝ ගැන ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණයේ අභියෝගයට ලක් කරන්න බැරි වෙන්නේ ඇයි?
ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමා ඔය ඔබතුමා නගන ප්‍රශ්නේ
This same question was raised a week ago. We acted upon legal advice and there will be no change in the decision that was made.
මේ උපදෙස් අරගෙන කටයුතු කරේ ඒ නිසා ඒ තීරණය පිළිබඳ කිසිම වෙනසක් හෝ විග්‍රහ කිරීමක් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ මම කියනවා.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි ඔබතුමා මේන්
Are you telling that when the government or the opposition moves the proposal to the House and gets it passed, the people cannot challenge it with the Supreme Court?
වෙනි යෝජනාවක් සම්බන්ධ කාරණයකට ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණයට යන්න මේ රටේ රටවැසියෙකුට අයිතියක් නැහැ කියලා.
ඔබතුමා දන්නවා පනතක් හරි
You are aware that no one has taken away the opportunity to go to the Supreme Court when a proposal or act is presented. There is no hindrance to consult the views of the Supreme Court.
ඒ වෙනුවෙන් දොර විවෘත වෙලා තියෙනවා. ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණයේ අදහස් විමසීමට කිසිම බාධාවක් නැහැ.
මේ කාරණය සම්බන්ධව ඔබතුමා දුන්න තීන්දුවත් එක්ක මෙතුමා මතු කරපු කාරණෙත් මම
We discussed this before. However, after your decision, the Supreme Court is not taking up any related matter. Those matters are discussed or moved aside. It means that the decision you gave in Parliament has had an impact on the judicial orders. Your decision has created a great division between the legislature and the judiciary.
මුලින් ඉඳලම වක්කීමක් අදෝ කිව්වේ අධිකරණය සහ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව අතර ඇති කරලා තියෙන බෙදීම තවත් තීව්‍ර කරලා තියෙන ඔබතුමාගේ තීන්දුවත් එක්ක ඒක අපි මේ කියන්නේ.
ඔය ගැන
You can go to the Supreme Court and consult them.
විමසන්න.
A heated situation arose in Parliament on Tuesday regarding the incident in which estate administrators took measures to remove a temporary house of a plantation worker in Ratwatta Estate, Al-Kadua.
They chased estate workers in Ratwatte Estate in Matale from their home with their children and destroyed it. Those responsible were still not arrested. This is a national crime. The estate superintendent chased the family of 14 out of their home. Can they do this? What is the country's law? We will inform the Minister. The Minister of Plantation Industries will look into it.
දැන් හරි රූපවාහිනියට වැටුණා. වතුකරේ ජනතාවට යනවා හැන්දෑවට.
මේ
This is wrong. This happened at a government estate. How can that happen? The subject minister should be held responsible. He can't go there and put a false fact. The government hasn't been able to serve justice to plantation workers. The subject minister and officials who intimidated them and destroyed the house should provide answers to Parliament. I urge the subject minister to do so. They shed crocodile tears when they asked for votes from plantation workers. This incident is regretful. It shouldn't have happened. The assistant manager of estate was directly involved to clear these illegal constructions. That shouldn't have happened. I informed the chairman of the company to transfer him, send him on mandatory leave and conduct an investigation. That has happened and a stringent investigation is underway. Legal measures will be taken. When he heard of this Minister of Estate Infrastructure Development, Jeevan Thondaman represented the family within the first 24 hours and promised to serve them justice.
The assistant manager of that estate, if he had an issue with the non-worker who had encroached or illegally built a structure, there are legal ways through which it can be addressed. But while there was a 2-month-old infant, he has gone and said, I will throw you out in the streets. Honorable Leader of the Opposition, then following that, what happened is, yes, I had gone there. And when I went there, I must admit, my anger, though it was justified, I could have gone about it in a better way. But at the same time, we are talking, today there's so much of ruckus over the dignity of one man, that particular executive, as opposed to the dignity of my community. And as far as the dignity of my community is concerned, we have not received any. When the agreements were given, when the lease was given to these companies, it was such a weak lease where it granted companies total authority over the lands and the people there. Today, honestly, I am sitting here and speaking out of pure emotion. And the only way this can be sorted out is if these people are given rights to ownership over land, which we have already informed President Ranil Wickremesinghe, we have informed Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, and it's in fact Honorable Minister Ramesh Patirano who started this move, along with Minister Harin Fernando and myself. We will be submitting a cabinet paper very shortly to grant these people 10 purchase, and that's about 200,000 families. More than the government, it is the exploitation of labor, and that is what needs to be addressed. I am sorry if I have offended any of you by speaking in such an aggressive tone, but it is just frustration, not frustration of Jeevan Thondaman, but frustration of the community.
Beneficiaries of the Welfare Benefit Board are yet to receive funds as the chairman of the board has not been appointed. Member of the Welfare Benefits Board, Kamal Padmasiri, says that the board must convene to approve the relevant payment.
B. Wijeratne, who served as the chairman of the Welfare Benefits Board, resigned from his position recently. The president has proposed names to the Constitutional Council to appoint Jayanta Wijeratne as the new chairman of the Welfare Benefits Board. The Constitutional Council must approve the proposed name. Meanwhile, the Samruddhi Development Officers Association alleges that the names of many welfare beneficiaries have not been included in the lists of divisional secretariats by the Welfare Benefits Board. News First inquired in this regard from member of the Welfare Benefits Board, Kamal Padmasiri. He added that the names of many beneficiaries who did not send in applications have been removed from the list. Meanwhile, the All Ceylon Samruddhi Development and Agriculture Officers Association says that the Aswasama program must be re-implemented properly by Samruddhi and Gramanildari officers. What should be done is not to make a mess but to remove those unlawful laws and create the backdrop for the Samruddhi and Gramanildari officers to work. If this is the case, the Aswasama and Samruddhi programs can be successfully implemented together. But if things are done arbitrarily, the people will not accept it. People may protest. That is why I request the President and the government to refocus on this matter.
In more local news, the Water Resources Board has informed the public to check with an office of the board if there is a change in the taste, smell or colour of the water when using groundwater due to the prevailing arid weather conditions. He expressed these views taking part in TV1's Nagitimu Sri Lanka program on Tuesday.
මේ සටහනෙන් ඇත්තටම පෙන්වුම් කරන්නේ මේ ත්‍රිකුණාමල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ අපි කරන මේ පරිශ්‍රණයේදී භූගත ජල මට්ටම අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි ඒකේ
This graph shows the Trincomalee district. In this research we are conducting, the groundwater levels have decreased. The graph below shows the salinity of the groundwater. Water levels have decreased and the salinity has increased. It can still be used for drinking water purposes, but if the salinity increases any further, it will be an issue. In some areas the salinity may increase and may lead to change in taste, color or smell when drinking it. In such cases, advice must be sought. If you contact the Water Resources Board, we can issue advice on whether it is suitable for drinking. We also have laboratories in Puttalam, Anuradhapura, Jaffna and Colombo. If you bring water samples, it can be tested on whether it is suitable for drinking.
රසායනාගාර තියෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන් අපේ පුත්තලම අනුරාධපුර ඒ වගේ යාපනයේ ඒ වගේ කොළඹ රසායනාගාර තියෙනවා. ඒ රසායනාගාරයට ජල සාම්පලයක් ගෙනලා ටෙස්ට් කරගෙන ඒකේ අවශ්‍ය උපදෙස් ලබා ගන්න ඕන මේක බීමට සුදුසුද නැද්ද කියන කාරණේ.
People of 17 districts have been affected due to the arid weather that has affected Sri Lanka. The Disaster Management Centre said 248,531 people belonging to 72,100 families have been affected. The Ratnapura, Trincomalee, Batticaloa, Ampara, Kurunegala, Jaffna, Vavuniya, Munaragala and Hambantota districts have been affected the most.
People of Lunugambera have also been affected due to the arid weather conditions. Many of the farmers in the area cultivate other crops and their farmlands are being destroyed in the recent days due to the lack of water. The Ranavaranava lake, which provided water for the cultivated fields, has also dried up. News First correspondent said that around 150 families have been affected by this situation. Dairy farmers in Kantale are also burdened due to the severe arid weather conditions. Farmers said that cattle rearing has become a difficult task as grass and small lakes in the area have dried up due to hot sun.
The Disaster Management Centre says that the military and intelligence agencies are expected to be deployed to arrest those who were involved in forest fires. Meanwhile, a special discussion has been called today at the Disaster Management Centre under the chairmanship of State Minister for Defence Pramitha Bandara Thennakoon to take crucial decisions in this regard as well.
Although forest fires can be seen in many countries of the world owing to the dry weather conditions, the Disaster Management Centre points out that forest fires in Sri Lanka are often caused by human activities. Data from the Disaster Management Centre shows that around 5,000 hectares worth of land has been damaged by forest fires. In the year 2021, 120 forest fires were recorded, and in 2022 the number has risen to 78. The Disaster Management Centre says that 96 incidents of forest fires have been reported so far in 2023. It adds several reasons for the occurrence of forest fires in Sri Lanka, including the running out of control of the fires which are set by sparks scattered from discarded cigarettes, the burning of garbage, etc. Similarly, fires that go out of control following the setting fire to hay for agricultural purposes are the main among the reasons as well. They add that forest fires have also been caused to hunt animals and obtain new grass for animals to consume as well. The Disaster Management Centre points out that forest fires have been reported in some cases due to carelessness during pilgrimages as well. The Disaster Management Centre informs the public to immediately call 117 if you observe smoke rising from forest areas. Divi Savya, the second leg of the Divi Savya program to provide much needed school books and stationery items to school children in Sri Lanka. 23rd of August, Kulyapitiya and Kiriyulla.
Dai Daruwange Anagate Winuwin Divi Savya, LOLC Praja Satkaraka Mehevara.
News First with the people.
Bangladesh media reports that the $50 million of the $200 million currency swap has been paid by the Sri Lankan government.
Quoting the spokesperson of the Central Bank of Bangladesh, Mesbaul Haq, Bangladesh media reported that as the 17th of August 2023, the first installment worth $50 million has been paid. He affirmed that the amount of foreign exchange in the country has been increased in this regard as well. The spokesperson of the Bangladesh Central Bank further says that he expects the second installment to be received within this month as well. However, the spokesperson refused to comment on the value of the second installment. The Central Bank of Bangladesh provided the currency swap to Sri Lanka in May 2021. Due to the economic crisis that Sri Lanka was facing, the time given to repay this was postponed on several occasions. The Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Bangladesh extended the deadline for the settlement of the currency swap until September this year.
SLPP lawmaker SP Disanayaka was appointed to the Select Committee of Parliament to investigate causes for financial bankruptcy declared by the government and to report to Parliament and submit its proposals. The announcement was made by Speaker Mahinda Wardana. In other local news, the Supreme Court found that some clauses of the Contempt of Court, Tribunal or Institution Bill are inconsistent with the Constitution. The Speaker announced a determination in Parliament today.
I wish to announce to Parliament that I have received a determination of Supreme Court in respect of the bill title Contempt of a Court, Tribunal or Institution, which was challenged in Supreme Court in terms of Article 121(1) of the Constitution. The determination of the Supreme Court as constitutionality of the bill title Contempt of Court, Tribunal and Institution is as follows. Clause 2E is inconsistent with Article 12(1) of the Constitution. Clause 3(1)(b) is inconsistent with the Article 12(1) of the Constitution. However, the said inconsistency will cease if the amendment proposed in the determination of the Supreme Court is made to the said clause. Clause 3(2) is inconsistent with Article 12(1) of the Constitution. However, the Supreme Court holds that there is no inconsistency of the provisions that are contained in clauses 32A to 32(3)(2)A, 32E with the Constitution, subject to the amendment clause 32C of the bill as suggested by the Honorable Attorney General. 3. The Supreme Court is of the view that Clause 4 is inconsistent with Article 12(1) of the Constitution. However, if the proposed amendment as set out in the determination of the Supreme Court is made, such inconsistency would cease. Number 4. Provisions of Clause 373 are inconsistent with Article 13(2) of the Constitution. However, the proposed amendment by the Honorable Attorney General as set out in the determination of the Supreme Court, if inserted to Clause 3(1)(b), the said inconsistency would cease. Provisions of Clause 7(3) are also inconsistent with Article 13(3) of the Constitution. Number 5. Clauses 8(1)(b), 8(1)(c), 9(1)(b), 9(1)(c) are inconsistent with Article 12(1) of the Constitution. However, the proposed amendment by the Honorable Attorney General as set out in the determination of the Supreme Court, if inserted, would cease the said inconsistency in these clauses. Number 6. The Supreme Court holds that Clause 2 as whole is inconsistent with the provisions of Article 12(1) of the Constitution, and it would be validly passed in Parliament into law only with the special majority, with the number of votes cast in favor therefore amounts to not less than 2/3 of the whole number of members, including those not present, as prescribed in terms of Article 84(2) of the Constitution. Number 7. The Supreme Court is of the view that Clause 12(1) is inconsistent with Article 146(2)(5)(4) of the Constitution. However, the said inconsistency will cease if amendment indicated in the determination of the Supreme Court is made to the said clause. Number 8. Clause number 13 will be amended to the committee stage at the committee stage of the bill to set out the determination of the Supreme Court. Number 9. Supreme Court is of the view that Clause 16 is inconsistent with Article 12 of the Constitution. However, the inconsistency will cease if amendment indicated in the determination of the Supreme Court is made to the said clause.
In other local news, the Inter-University Students' Federation says that despite the absence of queues, the economic crisis faced by the country is not yet over. Venerable Galava Siridamathero said the convener of the Inter-University Bhikkhu Federation spoke to the media in this regard yesterday.
The people in this country see that there are no fuel and gas queues, and on the set it looks like there is no crisis. But if you look at different fields, there are multiple crises. In the educational sector, it has come to a state where schools may have to be closed. Just as specialist doctors are leaving the country, so are university teachers. It has come to a situation where school teachers are also leaving this country because they cannot pay these taxes. Their fraudulent scam is that they put up the board of the IMF their solutions and steal from the entire country.
A person died in a shooting last night opposite the Ratmalana railway station.
A person was shot and killed opposite the Ratmalana railway station at around 9 p.m. on Monday by two unidentified motorcycle gunmen. The victim was a resident of Ratmalana, and it was reported that he was employed at the meat shop located near the vicinity of the shooting. Police said that the deceased was a 40-year-old man. The reason for the shooting has not yet been revealed.
In more local news, 9 more patients have been identified with an unknown disease that is spreading in the vicinity of the Galle prison.
Doctors of the Karapiti Teaching Hospital have given an open verdict regarding the death of 2 inmates at the Galle prison on Monday. Superintendent of Galle prison, Pulina Karunaratna, says that the remains have been sent to the coroner in this regard. He added that the relevant patients will be kept in a separate section of the prison, and if a serious situation arises, steps will be taken to hospitalize them as well. It has also been made mandatory for everyone, including nurses, to wear face masks. Inmates showed symptoms of fever and a skin infection. 9 inmates are receiving treatment at the Karapiti Teaching Hospital. 2 inmates died on the 13th and the 20th of August. Further investigations are underway. A group of specialists from the Karapiti Teaching Hospital arrived at the Galle prison, tested all officials and inmates and gave them antibiotics. They have been advised to wear masks. Operations at the prison are being carried out as usual.
In other local news, the second Kubal Perahera of the historic Asala Perahera at the Temple of the Tooth Relic in Kandy will be held tonight as well. Police says that a special security program and a traffic plan are also in place due to this in the Kandy city.
More than 5,500 police officers have been assigned for duties during the Perahera. The second Kubal Perahera is scheduled to move up Dalanda Vidya, DS Senanayaka Vidya and Raja Vidya at 7 p.m. tonight and pay its homage to the palace. According to the police, during the period of the Perahera, 11 roads to enter the Kandy district will be closed off. All people entering the Perahera route will be subjected to security checks, and tourists will be guided by Sri Lanka Police Tourism Division as well. Meanwhile, the police said that parking lots have been prepared at 8 locations, including the Kandy Municipal Council premises, the railway station, opposite the Kandy Court opposite the Kandy Court complex as well.
Former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra was swiftly arrested, taken to court and jailed after he landed back home in Thailand after 15 years in self-imposed exile.
Thaksin, the country's most successful elected leader, has long been feared by conservative royalists who have backed military coups and contentious court cases to weaken him. But now the brash, politically ambitious telecoms tycoon is back, presumably after striking a quiet deal with the same men who unseated his party in a 2014 coup to keep him out of prison. He has sentence of up to 10 years outstanding from criminal cases he says were politically motivated. Thaksin landed in the capital Bangkok at 9 a.m. local time on a private jet from Dubai through Singapore. He was greeted by hundreds of his supporters who cheered, sang and gave speeches. Many had travelled overnight from his party's stronghold in northeastern Thailand to witness this moment. Thaksin was unable to greet his supporters in person. He was flanked by his 2 daughters and son as he emerged briefly from the airport terminal and paid his respects to a portrait of the king and queen. He was then taken to the Supreme Court, which will decide what to do about the prison sentences imposed on him in his absence. It is expected that he will be released soon.
Former President Donald Trump has said he will surrender to a court in the state of Georgia on Thursday to face charges of election interference.
Republican Donald Trump has said he will surrender to a court in the state of Georgia on Thursday to face charges of election interference. A judge in Atlanta has set bail at $200,000. Trump can remain free pending trial so long as he does not attempt to threaten or intimidate witnesses. Trump denies 13 charges, including racketeering and false statements. The agreement between Trump's lawyers and the Fulton County District Attorney says that Trump cannot post on social media or repost posts made by another individual on social media that could be seen as an attempt to intimidate witnesses. He has also said that he will not attend the first Republican presidential debate on Wednesday evening. The charges against Trump stem from his attempts to pressure Georgia officials to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Trump is the first former or serving U.S. president ever to be indicted. He faces 3 other criminal cases. The arraignment for Trump and his co-defendants is scheduled for September 5th. The trial is expected to begin in March.
American Sha'Carri Richardson beat a star-studded field of rivals to claim her first major title during the 100-meter event at the World Championships.
Swoboda, Poland in 1, ice in 5. The Sha'Carri Richardson.
After nearly failing to qualify for the 100-meter final, Sha'Carri Richardson posted a career record in the championship sprint to become a 2023 world champion in Budapest. Richardson, contesting for her first major final at 23, clocked her championship record 10.65 seconds to take victory. Britain's Dina Asher-Smith.
They're away first time. Can Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price deliver? She's got a good start, but watch Sharika Jackson.
Missed out on a 100-meter medal. Asher-Smith finished a disappointing 8th in 11 seconds after scraping through the semi-finals. Jamaica Sharika Jackson took silver ahead of Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price.
From nowhere in lane 9, it's an incredible performance from Sha'Carri Richardson. It looked as though Jackson was going to finish ahead of Fraser-Price, and she did. But the Jamaicans are stunned. Lovely
Jackson, the reigning 200-meter champion, ran 10.72 seconds as compatriot and record 5-time champion Fraser-Price finished in 10.77 seconds.
3 days of this World Championships has been wonderful so far. And Sha'Carri Richardson, quite rightly, really dramatic the way it was set up with the different lane draws.
That's a wrap of the lunchtime news. Join us again at 9 p.m. for prime time news on TV1.